I like to say HEMA is where all the nerds come to meet because you have like the video game nerds who want to use a sword in real life and the D&D nerds, but then you also have the history nerds. Pretty much every nerd you can think of gets drawn to swords at some point, I feel like. And so I tried some kickboxing, I tried lots of different athletic stuff, and HEMA just really stuck with me, and I think it's because it's a very academic sport on its own. So it's not just about the fighting or the brutality at all. Like, it's more like we want to get everything from these historical sources, learning from the historical masters. We call it HEMA because it stands for Historical European Martial Arts. And that word historical, like history, is things that were written down. Like, there are weapons that we won't do in HEMA. We might mess around with them, but they're not considered HEMA because we don't have written sources for them. These sources are usually not in English. Like, people have to find them from museums and stuff, and they translate them, and then we get like interpretations of those translations. So when you're beginning, you're going to have masking gloves, and we use the nylon swords, so they're much safer than the steel swords. We do that because it's a financial leap to get all the gear. But then once you're ready to use steel swords, we have jackets and pants and helmets. Everything is rated so that you can get stabbed with something sharp and it's not going to go through. And we're not using sharp weapons, but just in case like a blade breaks, the community in general is very focused on safety. Every safety thing is taken care of. You don't feel like you're in danger at all. And you're explained why you wear things, why you need these things, why we're not recommending you wear these, but you can if you want. So you feel very safe in the whole process. We can go full speed, full power regularly without worrying about hurting each other because of our protective equipment. And we always try to make sure people feel comfortable speaking up if they don't feel safe. So like if someone doesn't like how hard they're being hit, we're like, speak up about it. We will go lighter. Like, don't ever feel like you have to just take it.
You hold two?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I didn't know this was a thing.
I would say in HEMA, we focus on art. Like, we even call it art all the time. It's not like we're not just trying to knock someone out. Like, you're trying to showcase what you can do. You think of knights and stuff, and they had codes of honor that they would follow. It's like, you're not just going to stab someone in the back. It would be frowned upon to just kind of brutally take someone out as opposed to having a fair fight. Yeah, and war is a very different type of fencing. HEMA is really focused on the one-on-one duel aspect.
See ya.
So longsword is definitely my favorite. I like the complexity of longsword. I also just, in the beginning, I like the feeling of like, this sword could hurt someone. It's like, I'm not going to hurt someone, but it's a fun thing to just feel like. It's definitely the most popular, and I think that's partially due to like movies and just the amount of media the longsword gets. And the second most popular is rapier, or rapier and dagger. So we actually use a historical type of sword, which is called a Federschwert in German, which means feather sword. And so they actually use these to train with historically. So they're a lot more flexible. So like if you get thrusted with it, the sword's gonna flex rather than try to go through. Also, the tips are usually rolled or spatulated, meaning they get thicker at the end so that they're not going to pierce anything. And they're blunt, that's the other one. So these edges are very rounded. They're definitely not sharp in any way. It's also cool to know that, like, yes, this is safety equipment, but it's historical safety equipment too. Like, they would have used a sword like that to train with each other. We have different masters that we can learn from. Like in Longsword, you have Lichtenauer, who's German, and he wrote like a poem, and then he has 3 students who kind of translated his poem for the layman because the poem is notoriously hard to understand. And so you have those, and then Fiore, who is Italian. It's a different style. It's about the same time period as Lichtenauer. And then we also have more like modern. So like Meyer is a more modern German master. So you get different kinds of styles out of that. I am constantly trying to get Like I'm leaving openings so that I can predict where they're gonna go. So I'm just constantly like, if I give them this, they're gonna do that, which is what I want them to do so that I can do this. Like when you're fencing, it's really, especially when you're just sparring, it's really just instincts. And I might have something like a few things I'm trying to work on. I'm not really thinking about the history at that point. But when I'm training, I'm definitely trying to do it. Like I'm trying to think of it realistically, like would this, if I were using a sharp sword and didn't have armor on, would I actually want to do this? Or would this be a bad idea? Like once someone's hit, if you're in a tournament, a judge will call hold and then you back up and then they assign point values. If we're just sparring, anytime someone hits, we retreat and reset. Unless you're specifically trying to do like continuous fencing, which we'll do for like endurance practice.
And then towards the end, Laurel wants to work on how to defeat Mike.
Yes.
Crone. So make sure that your sword faces the same direction as your hips.
I definitely think when I started, it was a lot more of a boys' club than it is now. It's still predominantly men that do it, but there's a lot of women and trans people that do it now as well. And I think when I started, it was very hard for me to speak up about the brutality and like getting hit hard. And that's something I'm very proud that I've kind of brought that down in our club, that can bring the level down if necessary. And there are people who come for class and just don't want to spar for a long time too. And that's totally fine. Like if you just want to learn the sword, don't want to actually fence with it, we definitely have a space for that as well. I also just really want to see like the women's events grow. And we always love when new people come into the club because it brings a new perspective to fight against, especially people with other backgrounds. We recently had someone come from another club in the Bay Area who has a very different background from anyone here. Because those of us who are advanced, we get really used to fighting each other, and we all have very similar styles. So fighting a new style can really help us. And even a beginner, beginners with different backgrounds will bring different things, especially lefties. We want more lefties in HEMA. I really feel like people know how to leave it in the ring. You have your match, you do what you can, and then afterwards we're like, let's all get drinks and let's go have a party. Or I even go up to people who I regularly fight and ask them to coach me, things like that. So the community is definitely willing to help uplift each other. I would just find a club and try it. If you're not interested in even fencing with other people, just kind of learning how to use the sword, there's still a place for you. We all have the passion for swords in some kind of way, even though in our daily lives we're very different from each other.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to discover more hobbies and visit notjusthehobby.com to learn more.